Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix family? Bob here. Hey guys, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for joining me on this morning talk. Just a trigger warning, especially for you Christians here that can kind of read between the lines. I'm probably going to be doing a little video here about your heroes. I'm sorry, but it needs to be said. And I'm not attacking you guys. Just I know whenever I do these videos, I always lose subscribers. But that's fine. I'm weeding out the ones that can't think for themselves. So the ones that can, they're going to understand what I'm talking about, and they're going to get it, right? So anyways, this is a touchy subject, so I'm going to keep it vague, but I'm sure you'll understand what I'm talking about here. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments and stuff. So many of you have probably heard, I don't know who did the little monologue, but there's this monologue they play on InfoWars a lot of times, and I've heard it in other places too on the internet. But essentially this guy's narrating, saying like, if I was the devil, right? If I was the devil, I would do this, I would do that, and he goes on and on. Well, I want to do a little spin off of that because a lot of people, they put all the blame on this devil, on this Antichrist, Lucifer, Satan, which honestly, folks, if you actually understand the Old Testament and you understand the different characters from Sumer that are in the Old Testament, you'll understand that all these characters are different beings. They're not the same, okay? But yeah, somehow Lucifer, the devil, Satan, the devil, all these different monikers become one person or character, and it's like everybody puts their blame on this one being, right? Like he's the scapegoat, right? That's why he's always shown as being a goat. Like that's why his symbol is the goat, because he's the scapegoat, right? Well, who's he a scapegoat for? Well, he's a scapegoat for the Council of the Anuna, for the rest of the Anuna, the Anunnaki, the Elohim, the Watchers, that use Earth like a plaything. Okay? And this character that calls himself the creator of all is a liar and a deceiver from the beginning. And in fact, he is the commander of Earth, and he's the ultimate jailer of this prison planet. Okay? So he was the one behind the push to create the Homo sapien slave race. And look, for those of you that are like, no, we're created in the image of God. Don't you read the Bible? Yeah, I do actually, folks. And you don't understand your own Bible, because it says, come, let us make man in our image after our likeness. So it's talking about that man, that the Homo sapien, the meat sack called the human body was created in the image of the Elohim, the gods, little g gods, folks, the Anuna, the Elohim, okay? Let's get this straight, man. Come on, folks, wake up. This is like preschool level spiritualism here. I mean, if you can't figure this out, my God, really? I get tired of hearing Christians always say, they're attacking our bodies all the time because we're made in the image of God. They're trying to destroy the temple of God. Like, folks, the temple has the seat of the spirit, the soul. Okay? It's the pineal gland. It's the connection point. It's the receiver that allows conscious energy to immerse itself into the human construct, the human body, which allows that consciousness to experience this realm through the spacesuit called the body. Okay? The temple is that connection point. Okay? It's between your ears. It's settled right in the middle of your brain. Okay? Now, do they attack that? Of course they attack the receiver. But the body is of this world, folks. The lower dimension, the animalistic, the 666, the beast. Okay? Okay, we're going to move on, because if you don't know this yet and you're still that ignorant, I'm sorry. I get so aggravated every single day online. I see, they're attacking the body because it's the image of God. No, folks, the spirit is the image of God. The Christ consciousness. The body is the beast. aka the Antichrist, folks. You all are the Antichrist. Don't you get it? It's your lower dimensional self that you struggle and strive against. Your spirit does. The higher self. Right? Come on, man. It's time to wake up, folks. I get so tired of this. I mean, we're still trying to get people past the preschool here. I mean, learn something. Go learn the Hermetic teachings or something, okay? So anyways, so here we go, folks. This is going to mix it up a little bit. So now, instead of putting all the blame on the devil, right, we're going to put it on the devil's children, on his bloodline, and his direct bloodline here on earth that still rules, right, from, that allows the Anuna to at least one faction of the Anuna to rule earth from behind the shadows through their human-blooded, later on bred after the hybridization of the human body, right? Because the Anunnaki took on concubines. It's quite obvious if you read the cuneiform tablets, folks. Yes, and the Book of Enoch will tell you the same thing, right? And the Bible, right? When the sons of God came onto the... Look, folks, they had they had the parts that men do, to get women pregnant, okay? These were flesh and blood avatars. They were different avatars from humans, but, okay? Let's just get that straight, okay? My God, people are like, well, they materialize a penis to get a woman. They're a spirit. They're an angel. I mean, people are so... Oh, my God, dude. It's just... The fairy tale, I guess, is more exciting than the truth for some people, but whatever. So, if I was the children of the devil, I would be a vagabond upon the earth. I would never really truly have a home, because every nation that I was embedded in would eventually figure out my evil deeds and my deceptions and my trying to enslave that culture and take it over. So if I was the children of the devil, I'd be getting kicked out of every country I'm in, aka Egypt and so on, if you get the drift, right? If I was the children of the devil, because of this, I would have to adapt and become a merchant, a world-renowned merchant class of people, right? AKA the Phoenicians, Canaanites. And if I was the children of the devil, because I was a vagabond, because my culture was so disgusting and full of liars and deceivers, because they're the children of the devil, right? Well, I would steal my culture, and I would take ancient teachings and beliefs, and I would remix it to make myself the hero in the story. That way, that would explain why I'm a vagabond race upon the earth, why nobody wants me, right? That's what I would do if I was the children of the devil. And then out of this, and if I was the children of the devil, the God I would choose to champion my culture would be an iron-fisted war god, a demiurge, a god of all lies and deceptions that claims that he is the only God when he's a liar, because he's literally in competition with other gods, and he's not the creator of all. But if you're the children of the devil, that would be your God. Because if you're the children of the devil, you would not want humanity to know the truth of their origins. So you would muddy the waters, and you would change things just enough that people like modern day Christians and such wouldn't be able to even understand that they've been tricked forever, their whole lives, into worshiping the devil. Even though their book in Revelation tells them that. I mean, 144,000 were the elect, the only ones that had the seal of understanding on their foreheads, which means that's the little percentage of Christians on earth out of billions right now that actually understood that there's this devil that many worship within their own religion and not knowing it, right? So if I was the children of the devil, because I do not own a land and I get kicked out of every country I'm on, I would have to resort to warfare and pillaging and destruction and theft of other people's lands to establish my own nation. Now, if I was the children of the devil, I could only hold on to that land for so long because so much corruption would pour out of that land that other peoples and nations would come and take me away, destroy my nation, because they'd get sick and tired of the disgusting stuff that me and my people, the children of the devil, were doing, right? So, if I was the children of the devil, I would just dust off my shoes and just spread out throughout the world. And instead of being a localized merchant class, our merchant race, if we were the children of the devil, we would, or I would, go ahead and start spreading out that merchant system that all over the world. And in fact, I would adopt the most usury-based, debt slavery-based monetary system in the world that originated out of Babylon. And I would put that system in every nation I set foot in. I would trick leaders in every country that I did business with to adopt my usury, debt-based, monetary Babylonian money system. And I would, in a sense, be able to embed my own people within these nations and governments, because with that debt-based monetary system, I could pay off politicians, I could bribe politicians so that I could get my way, and that through proxy, I could control many nations on earth, if not all. If I was the children of the devil, the long-term plan would be to embed my Babylonian monetary system in every single nation on earth. And the last holdouts that would not adopt my Babylonian money system, well, I would, through my proxies, through the manipulated politicians and such, I would convince those leaders of those nations to go destroy the ones that wouldn't adopt my monetary system. Destroy their nations completely. And in doing so, I would also, if I was the children of the devil, I would fund both sides of every war, including the wars to overthrow the nations that wouldn't accept my money, my currency, control of energy. If I was the children of the devil, I would co-opt a new religion from one of my own tribe that stepped out and seen the truth through the truth and lies and decided to be a master teacher for the world, to perhaps even on a higher level than Buddha or any of the other master teachers and clerics, and mystics that had walked the earth. This one would break the ranks, call out the lies of the children of the devil, and he would denounce them. And he would try to build a new teaching that would free all of humanity and bring everybody together in unison in love, to teach us that we come from the true creator of all, not the false demiurge of this realm. So if you were the children of the devil, what would you do to stop this? Well, you wouldn't be able to stop it, because thoughts are powerful and words are powerful. So you would co-opt it by merging your belief system with that one, and then tricking that new belief system to adopt your war god as the creator of all. And then trick them to say that was their son, that it was his son that walked the earth. See, if you were the children of the devil, you would understand that you couldn't have peace and love and unity in the earth. You would need division and strife. If you were the children of the devil, you would be an inbred. You would push your peoples to not have marriage outside of the tribe, to keep it all within the tribe, so that you could protect that bloodline of the devil. So you would be a nation of inbreds, essentially. If you were the children of the devil, you would infiltrate the most powerful nations on earth. You would, with your monetary system, you would bribe their politicians. You would blackmail their politicians. For the ones that didn't want to do dealings with you, you would set up honey traps so that you could get that either trick that politician or that powerful person, influential person, into committing a sin so that you can now blackmail them over. Or you could just downright drug them and put them in a situation so they're in a position where they're not in their right mind and they do commit a sin, a bad sin, and now you still got blackmail on them. Now you control these powerful nations through fear, blackmailing, subterfuge, and downright greed. If you're the children of the devil, you wouldn't stop there. You would want to control a nation's culture too. And how would you do that? Well, you would make sure to embed your people in all of the powerful CEO positions you could get into. You would control the media. You would buy out the media with your Babylonian money system. You would control the culture through entertainment, through music. And you would embed evil thoughts into the minds of the population to cause division and strife, to break up the family structure so that you had weak nations that you could embed yourself in. The weaker the nation, the weaker the culture, the easier to manipulate and control. If you were the devil's children, you would control many of the food corporations and the medicine corporations so that you could embed poisons into the food and the medicines so that you could keep your enemies weak. Now, these enemies, who would they be? Well, they would be everybody not of your tribe. And you would be very vocal about that you're the one and only good tribe because you worship the devil, right? See, the devil's children are proud of the fact they worship the devil. If you were the children of the devil, you would believe in blood sacrifice. But you would call everybody else that does it a witchcraft or such. Even though essentially your whole culture is built on witchcraft and sorcery. See, if you were the children of the devil, you would accuse others of what you are the one doing. If you were the children of the devil, you would control the narrative in nations to the point that even in countries that have constitutional rights to freedom of speech, you would be able to carve out a specific law there that you would be the only ones that you're not allowed to speak out against. That you could destroy their business, you could get them kicked out of their job, you could essentially shut them up. See, if you took away the voice of those calling you out, well, then you don't have to worry about that voice no more. See, if you were the children of the devil, you would own powerful countries so deeply and thoroughly that even though you're a very small percentage of the overall population, you would control most of the corporations, most of the politicians, most of the entertainment and media sources. And if anybody called you out for that, if you're the children of the devil, well, you would have a word that would disparage that person to make other people think they were an asshole and a jerk for questioning you. See, if you were the children of the devil, your whole sole point in life would be control and power and usury and greed. See, if you were the children of the devil, you would have one book merged with another belief system's book so that though that belief system would believe that the whole combined books are all the same story, but in fact, it's about two different gods and two different narratives. But see, the other people would be so manipulated that they would actually champion you. Their jailer, their manipulator, their user. A type of Stockholm syndrome mixed with MK Ultra, if you could. See, if you were the children of the devil, you would be very strict with your children. See, you wouldn't be running out here like some hooligan in a black robe sacrificing cats and dogs, right? Like doing witchcraft. No. You would put your witchcraft symbol on your flag. Wear it proudly, right? The cube of Saturn, cube of Satan, right? That would be your symbol. And you would You would claim that it was a positive symbol, but in fact it was a witchcraft symbol in itself, an ancient sorcery symbol. See, if you were the children of the devil, you would know that most people you'd already poisoned and dumbed down to the point that even putting it in their face, they wouldn't be able to wake up and see through your lies. See, the children of the devil would be able to easily manipulate most people on earth. And they would be too dumb to realize it. And they'd even champion these people. If you were the children of the devil, you would push your children to get into positions of power and influence in a nation, every nation you're in. You would push your children to be lawyers, doctors, CEOs, judges, politicians. Because through that, your tribe, aka cult, could control nations, and you would hold a lot of the most powerful positions, and you'd be in positions to control the media, the narrative, the medicine, right? If you were the children of the devil, you would co-opt almost every attack on the nation you were within so that you could cause more trauma-based mind control and Stockholm Syndrome, aka 9/11 and such. If you were the children of the devil, you would celebrate in your deeds. If you're the children of the devil, it would get to a point where you would control so much of a nation's leaders and such, and you'd have so many embedded people, and you'd have such a dumbed down, poisoned population that you would just start openly admitting that, yeah, you control the world. So, folks, I could go on and on and on and on and on. But I hope you understand, ultimately, who the children of the devil are and what their plans are and what they've been doing for thousands of years. See, if you're the children of the devil, you would lie. You would so trick people to believe that your storyline was written from the beginning, even though your book is thousands of years younger than the cultures you stole a lot of your tales from. But you would want it that way, because if people actually followed the breadcrumbs back to the beginning, they would see that your God is the devil, and that your symbol is a symbol of sorcery. And you would, if you were the children of the devil, if you were through your monetary usury system and your control and influence over politicians worldwide, you would carve out a new piece of land for your people, because you were a vagabond upon the earth, because no nation wanted you. Everywhere you go, you cause division and strife, and you get kicked out of those countries, right? Well, you would carve out a new piece of land, and you would do it just like the way your God taught you to do it, right? Through warfare and subterfuge, and ultimately, rape and pillaging. If you were the children of the devil, you would even convince this other religion that you merged your book with to back you in your path of destruction. If you were the children of the devil, you would trick that religion into getting ready for the return of your God to come and finish his job, and to put you, the children of the devil, back into power over the world. In fact, you would even have another book written separate of this book everybody knows that would tell your true aims. And that would start with a T and end with a D. And it would be Babylonian based in itself, because you learned the best sorcery from Babylon. See, if you're the children of the devil, you would not want to put all of your teachings out in the open. You would keep it in this separate book. But if people that weren't of your tribe would actually read that book, they would actually see what you really are, and that you're a monster race. a monster people. And maybe they would wake up and see why things are the way they are. See, if you're the devil's children, you would want to control the world by never allowing the world to find unity and brother and sistership. See, if you were the children of the devil, you would trick everybody into believing that we're bodies, that we're nothing. If you're the children of the devil, you would embed many of your own people in top science positions, so that not only on one hand you're pushing the worship of your devil god, but you would also be those that don't want to worship a god to begin with, or don't believe in a god. You would control them through science. See, if you're the children of the devil, you would push theories like Darwinism and such to trick them into accepting their beast form as being the truth. Not the truth that your devil god actually has no power outside of this realm, and that the creator of all is pure love, and that we are truly, the spirit is made in the image of the creator of all. So I think we're going to end there, folks. Had to add a few more points there. Hope you get the gist. I don't know if this will upload to YouTube or not. I'm sure their AI algorithms are really like combing through stuff right now, harder than ever. So it is what it is. But hey, folks, I'm just being I'm being frank with you. Okay, it's time to wake up, folks. It's absolutely time to wake up and take back our power. It's time to wake up and figure out what's been going on for thousands of years. And it's time to start doing some research, okay? And look, I'm not calling for anything above just waking up and spreading the truth, okay? You could say essentially the word and the spelling, right? Writing is more powerful than violence. I'm not calling for that at all. I'm just simply saying it's time to wake up, and it's time to take the power from these people and decouple from them. Allow them to go hide in their little sanctuary, their little holy city, and allow them to stay there and just totally cut off all contact and dealings with the children of the devil. Because as long as the children of the devil are in your nation, and as long as they're embedded in your governments and your schools, professors and such, and in your medical field, poisoning your bodies and minds, spraying your skies, pouring fluoride in the water, as long as you got that going on, the children of the devil will always control your nation. And just so you guys understand, look, this is not the only powerful group of people on earth, obviously, right? We've got plenty of other power players out there too, right? AKA Catholic Church and stuff and such, right? The old Roman system is still in power too. In fact, the Roman system was the power that coupled this new teachings of this master mystic teacher, our brother Yeshua, with this Old Testament devil god. They were the ones that brokered that connection, okay? And that power, that Roman power, is still in power to this day. They just are doing it through religion, organized religion, which is another form of slavery of the mind. Okay? Monetary, Babylon money system, the religious orders, they're all designed to trick you, to control you, to manipulate you, and to suck your power out of you. So many Christians worshiping this devil and calling on this devil's name when they do prayers and such because of their ignorance. And yet they'll sit there and tell you to your face that you're wrong because you're calling it out. Because they're so deceived that they champion the children of the devil and the devil himself. It's time to wake up, folks. It's really absolutely time to wake up. If we ever want to get this ship turned around, then we got to bail out the water. Okay? Because the water's been being poured in your hole on purpose. Not from breaking into the hull of the ship. It's been getting dumped into the ship. Right? So it's time to wake up, folks. I don't understand how people don't connect the dots and see things for how clearly they are. Right? how the children of the devil is such a small minority on the earth, control such a mass amount of wealth and power on the earth. See, only the devil's children would be like that. They would be the only ones that would have the cunning and the evil to do that. Because look, folks, the children of the devil understand that this is a long game. They understand that they're not going to do this in 5-10 years. They understand that this is thousands of years of prep work and embedding and subterfuge to get to this point, right? And this isn't the end. They plan on going all the way. They plan on enslaving us with their technologies to try to destroy the to try to destroy the Christ consciousness within all of us. See, their plan is to bring in the Antichrist, their God, to give him ultimate power over us through technology. It's time to wake up, folks. Okay? Just like a lot of people always say, it's always them at the bottom of every rabbit hole. And trust me, I didn't used to be that way. I used to think the opposite. I used to be a champion of the children of the devil because I was brainwashed and propagandized in my younger days when I did a lot of research into a certain book. And I always had trouble between swapping from the old version of that book to the newer books, newer version added onto that book. And I always noticed a distinct difference in the nature of the gods. The previous one and the one in the later books, I should say, right? And anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I'm probably going to get more people unsubscribing, but that's fine. Look, if you're a slave to these people, hey man, I don't really want you anyways following me because, you're probably just going to be a rat anyways. So, and you're at this point, if you're not thinking for yourself, you're never going to think for yourself. And, everything that I said, you're just going to shift that over to some other shadowy group, or, you're not going to understand what this is really all about, even though it's all in your face. Every single day it's in your face, right? So anyways, folks, hey, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. If you're interested in a one-on-one Zoom, check out the details in the descriptions. And you guys have a great day.